Have you ever experienced a lack of drive, enthusiasm, or purpose? My name is Layert, and today on the Gods of Semen channel, we'll discuss a topic that has the power to fundamentally alter how you approach your physical, mental, and spiritual potential: seminal retention. I've researched over the years how this exercise can generate a power that most men never encounter, resulting in increased self-confidence, clarity, and focus. Many of us struggle on a daily basis with fatigue, stress, and the sense that we are stuck in routines that keep us from maturing. It awakens our inner strength and links us with a path of continuous progress, which is precisely why seminal retention is so revolutionary. If you're sick of living in autopilot mode and want to take your life to the next level, I'll share practical tactics, insights, and results with you here. An important note before we begin: I will only respond to questions that include a thanks over $5, giving priority to the largest contributions. This helps YouTube spread the word to more people who need to know, which in turn keeps the channel alive. Let's explore the keys together to unlock the true potential within you, and stay with me through to the end, because what I'm about to share can open your mind to a world of possibilities. I feel deeply energized whenever I realize that life manifests opportunities almost inevitably when my consciousness and body are synchronized through seminal retention. And it is amazing to note how much this flow of abundance goes far beyond what most people understand as financial or material gain. I see retention not as an exaggerated renunciation, but as a choice to channel the most powerful energy I have, feeding the mind so clearly that each step in my path becomes an act of creation. I am convinced that many spend their lives trying to grab success so hard that everything escapes, as I allow myself to simply let this inner strength work in my favor. I used to look at luck as random, but today I believe that this state of mental readiness, strengthened by life energy, is what makes me in the right place at the exact moment, receptive to the signs that I once ignored. I feel my skin that, when the mind is not exhausted, creative flashes that turn banal conversations into unexpected collaborations and casual encounters into long-term partnerships. I look at the world and realize that the right ideas, people, and the right circumstances were always there. I just lack the clarity to see them and the willingness to act as soon as they arise. I see this state of harmony as a catalyst, because when I feel aligned internally, even the misfortunes seem to lead me to greater progress, and the faults act as steps towards an understanding that makes me stronger and stronger. I believe that the real impact of retaining energy is mainly revealed in the small gestures of everyday life. When I notice that I no longer disperse with distractions that once consumed my focus and time, and this leads me to conclude that each vitality particle that preserves becomes an investment in my actions. I see my relationships gaining lightness and depth because my presence is no longer turned on by anxieties, and it is as if I entered each interaction knowing that I can offer the best of myself without feeling exhausted later. I feel that self-confidence rises to a solid level when I understand that I no longer need to prove anything desperately, nor do I need to cling to the fear of losing something, because the universe seems to return this state of self-control with a constant series of favorable situations. I like to think that this process is not just about me, but that anyone who preserves their inner energy discovers a path of enlarged perception, as if intuition became a tuned radar that captures good opportunities before dissipating. I value, in particular, the sense of tranquility that comes from the fact that instead of running after goals that drain my mood, I act with balance. I put myself in the right flow and let that good things reach me effortlessly. I confess that in other times I would imagine that all this was small talk, but today I see the evidence in the form of coincidences that repeat themselves. People reappearing just when I am planning something they can help to realize. Phone calls arising the exact moment I think of the need for a partnership. Old projects that suddenly resurface with the opportunity to resume. I see the practicality of all this when I need to make quick decisions and do not feel the congested mind of useless thoughts, because the energy reserve allows me to act ready. I even observe how to speak; it becomes more fluid and spontaneous. Because I do not spend energy worrying about what others will find, I just leave my ideas flow, and the result is usually more genuine and captivating. I notice that for those who see from the outside, this phenomenon may seem lucky or simple chance, but I understand that this supposed randomness is part of a mechanism that rewards those who are in a state of presence and vitality. I realize that when I feel strong and awake, there are no gaps for self-sabotage, and every opportunity that comes up is clinging without the typical hesitation of those who are mentally exhausted. I often feel so connected to this flow that even an unexpected difficulty becomes a stimulus to move me, because mental clarity makes me see solutions that would once beated. I like to think of this path of retention as a transformative experience that reverberates in everything I do, including the way my career, my projects, and even my family relationships. I realize that gradually the results accumulate, and that feeling of pushing life with effort gives way to the impression that I am naturally pushed by a positive chain. I know that many still see retention as a strange sacrifice, but the truth is that I don't feel deprived of anything. On the contrary, I feel fueled by a force that makes me enjoy every moment with more intensity and conscience. I find inspiring to notice how every small victory reinforces this state of energy and encourages me to remain firm in practice, because if before I could even doubt, today I am convinced that there is a real value in keeping my body working in full potential. I clearly see that this alignment facilitates a smarter look at opportunities, identifying partnerships that really make sense, and avoiding agreements that would not lead me anywhere. I even see how certain people get away because they can't keep up with this frequency, and others approach because they feel the same vibration and see an ally for ambitious projects. I feel so confident in this process that goals are no longer a goal in themselves and become natural consequences of a more open and energetic posture. I definitely realize that life begins to show me clear signs, subtle coincidences, syncs that confirm that I am on the right track, and it gives me even more confidence to continue. I used to think that these coincidences were just curiosities, but today I take them seriously, because they work as clues that my subconscious can capture more sharply when I'm nourished with energy. I see that the worries that once haunted me simply do not find so much space, because my mental state is more serene, more willing to build bridges instead of digging abyss. I vibrate by noticing how, the more I dedicate myself to this lifestyle, the more my desire to achieve goals that didn't even go through my head grow. I feel that my own mind has expanded its horizon, because there is no more self-limitation or accommodation. I note that taking on this posture allows each step overdue to serve as an incentive for others, generating a virtuous cycle that, for me, defines the true path of personal growth. I like to say that seminal retention is not the magic formula of everything, but it is a crucial piece that enables me to use the rest of my potential much more effective. I see the power to transform every opportunity, a chance to create something bigger, because the desire to give up is drastically reduced when I am well supplied with energy and motivated by the clarity it brings. I notice that some try to explain this state in terms of neuroscience or spirituality, and I would say that there is a little of the two in this process, because I realize that my mind and spirit unite in a cohesive way, producing palpable results. I like to point out that this alignment does not make me immune to difficulties, but it makes me face them with confidence, without that paralyzing fear that so many experience. I feel that I can look at each setback as an opportunity to further refine my worldview, learning lessons that become fuel for my next actions. Get to know my new book, Alchemy of the Gods, which is the starting point for a profound journey through the Kundalini universe, crystalline oil, and spiritual liberation. It contains information on how to awaken the dormant energy within you, reach higher levels of consciousness, and undergo true personal metamorphosis. Are you prepared to take the next step towards a higher life, full of purpose and transformation? Do not waste time. Click on the link in the description now and in the fixed comment to assure your copy. Alchemy of the Gods is available in physical, digital, and audiobook formats so that you can dive into the teachings at any time and from any location. First of all, though, I have something new that you might not have anticipated. If you want to unlock your vital energy, regain focus, and achieve long-lasting personal growth, this is the guide that will transform your results. I present the Semen Retention Success Path, the definitive audiobook that covers the 6 main topics of seminal retention in over 2 hours. Additionally, by purchasing the Semen Retention Success Path, you automatically guarantee 30% off the Art of Semen Retention for Men ebook, which contains 20 pages of advanced techniques for spiritual evolution, emotional balance, and life purpose. Its participation is essential to keeping this work going, allowing the creation of even more profound and revolutionary information. To make it even better, join my channel now to receive special benefits like priority answers, early access to new content, and more. Check out the link in the description and comment section, and begin your evolutionary path right now. Later, make sure to turn your spiritual journey, extend your conscience, and reach the well-being you deserve. I particularly see a quality leap in the way I relate to people, because I value more authentic connections, as I don't feel the need to seek desperate validation or engage in empty interactions that just consume my time and energy. I appreciate the lightness that comes with the fact that, preserving my energy, I offer to the other the best version of me, and still create a conducive environment for valuable exchanges. I recognize that, at first, there may be some internal resistance. After all, if you get used to retaining energy is not something that is done overnight, but observing the fruits I gathered so far, I'm sure this decision was one of the best investments I've ever made in myself. I, Layert, leader of Gods of Semen, can say that I am delighted to share these insights, because I believe that every man who is dedicated to understanding and practicing this retention will experience a level of clarity, motivation, and balance that is hardly another way. I see friends who once sinks into procrastination and anxiety to give an impressive turn when they adopt this kind of habit, reporting expanded creativity experiences and opportunities that appear in a row, as if the universe were just expecting them to take their own power. I also notice that the self-confidence that arises is not arrogant, but genuinely based on results, realizing the real change of behavior and vibration, and this has an attraction effect on other people. I realize that what is called personal magnetism is closely linked to being at peace with yourself, not dispelling energy on impulses that bring momentary relief, but leave a void later. I reinforce every day that none of this is isolated magic. It is simply the balance between the mental, the physical, and the spiritual, something that retention helps to establish with solidity. I am excited every time I discover more and more examples of men who have turned their lives by cultivating this practice, whether in business, relationships, or mental health. I firmly believe that when there is plenty of energy, the mind finds solutions instead of surrounding problems, and thus the word difficulty loses much of its weight. I reaffirm that it is impressive to see the consistency of these ideas when we look at our personal history and realize that many times we miss a good opportunity. It was just when we were worn out, without focus, without that inner firmness. I like to say that the feeling of flowing with existence does not mean being passive, waiting for everything to fall from the sky, but to act in harmony with the chances they present themselves, to take advantage of the pack of a vitality that does not break up for immediate impulses. I even see that this reflects in the way I face long-term goals, because if before I was in a hurry and anxiety to get results, now I keep the discipline with the tranquility of who knows that it is following a solid path, without the euphoria of those who soon frustrate and give up. I feel that this transition taught me how to trust myself more, because the energy I keep becoming self, sufficiency, and every victory, however small, further ground my determination. I see retention as a gift that each one can develop, but requires respect for their own body and mind. I always comment that it is not enough to contain the energy. It is necessary to direct it, because if it is stagnant, it can generate frustration or anxiety. I prefer to channel all this in creative work, physical exercise, personal projects, and any activity that makes me expand. and the results are notable when comparing the way I acted before. I feel free of the need to seek harmful exhaust valves because I find satisfaction in the concrete advance of my aspirations, and it is exactly this feeling that makes me sure that it resonates the old pattern of energy waste would be a setback. I, Laerti, like to share that the more deepening my studies and practices, the more I confirm this thesis that abundance and luck are nothing more than the sum of a clear mind, a strong body, and an opening posture for what the world offers. I even realize that the very way I talk to people becomes richer, because I hear truly, I give space to understand their perspectives and, without realizing it, end up gaining respect and admiration. I do not listen to the position of guru or supreme expert. I only report what I live and the benefits I observed. And this honesty makes many identify and want to experience this lifestyle. I feel that all the insecurity and shyness that existed in me have been replaced by a tranquility that allows me to face challenges without hiding me. And that, for me, is a very valuable heritage, something no money buys. I often emphasize that the greatest reward comes from within, because the satisfaction of seeing its own evolution is worth more than any external validation, and I believe this inner posture is the large engine that retention provides. I like to point out that, as you perceive your own strength, there is also a sense of responsibility for your actions, because you understand that if you are able to create your own reality, you should also be careful not to waste this power with shallow or negative goals. I conclude, day after day, that this care and this discipline do not limit, but free, because they give me the clarity of prioritizing what really makes me grow. Finally, I understand that more and more men are discovering this practice and reporting similar benefits, confirming that this is not an isolated coincidence, but a phenomenon that involves both the physiological and mental and the spiritual side. I, Laert, leader of the gods of Semen, I am honored to spread this message, because I know that with every new person who awakens to the strength that brings within himself, a new wave of prosperity, creativity, and self-confidence spreads around the world. Your transformation starts now, and every second can mean the difference between staying stagnant or finally realizing your full potential. If you're sick of seeing your energy drained away in meaningless routines and feeling like the real purpose is always out of reach, this may be a sign that you can't put off change any longer. Click like now, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next suggested video.